take the first question, which is just to do with whether what's happening around the Pran Pratishtha in the build-up to the consecration of the Ram temple will have any bearing on people's decision to vote. So I'll take that question first. I want to tell our viewers that this is a poll done by Sea Voter, and the responses that you're seeing are for Hindi heartland states only. This isn't a national sample. This is largely concentrated in the Hindi heartland states. So with that caveat, let me take you through the response to the first question. Will the Ram Mandir Pratishtha ceremony in Ayodhya influence your voting preference in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections? Here are the responses. 52% of the voters say yes, it will. 31% say it won't. Now remember, most of these Hindi heartland states in any case tend to veer towards the BJP. This is where it's largely BJP versus Congress. It's also where the BJP has in the last election picked up about 90% of the seats on offer. So it's already a BJP bastion. In that, 52% of the respondents are saying yes, it will influence their voting decision, and 63% of the NDA voters say it will impact their voting decision. 45% of opposition voters also say it will impact their voting decision. 37% say no. Now the important thing here, Sanjay Kumar, is that obviously the NDA voters are going to say yes, they are charged up by the Pran Pratishtha, and they're likely to say yes, this will influence their voting. What would be interesting from a data perspective is that 45% of opposition voters are also saying that what will happen during the Pran Pratishtha might influence their voting behavior. What do you make of that?
See, Rahul, there are different consideration of voting when every individual has one vote, but this may not be the only consideration of the voter who are intending to vote for the opposition party. But yes, they say this may be one consideration, there could be other considerations as well. So it is not a clear black and white divide that all the voters who are very euphoric, very enthusiastic about Pran Pratishtha, they all will tend to vote for NDA. And all those who are not euphoric would tend to vote for opposition. There is always this grey area. You will vote for opposition parties, may not like this may not support this Pran Pratishtha, or may not be euphoric about Pran Pratishtha, and vice versa. And the data is clearly showing that, Rahul.
No, but what it also shows, Yashwant Deshmukh, is that the issue of the Ram temple seems to have charged up the base. If there was a sense that 10 years of being in power, some amongst the 37% who voted for the BJP in 2019 might be thinking, Mera ye promise pura nahi hua, or my situation is still not as well off as I'd likely to be. And if anti-incumbency could have been setting in amongst those voters, what this issue is doing is, amongst those who tend to support the BJP, it's got people really charged up and excited, and to that extent, the BJP seems to be using this as a mass mobilization exercise. Religion on the one side, development of the kind that we saw at the Atal Setu in Mumbai on the other, and to get their voters excited by involving them in the various ceremonies in the build-up to the consecration.
Absolutely, Rahul. And there are two things, I think. One that you have mentioned, about how to go about it and charge up the voter base who might be just going about a whip of anti-incumbency that, okay, somehow the other promise was not completely fulfilled by the BJP. But even more important than that, please remember, this is also one event which is going to charge up their cadre. And how BJP manages the cadre or uses the cadre of the RSS BJP infrastructure and in elections, we have just seen the result of that in the Madhya Pradesh Assembly election. I mean, arguably one state which they were uncomfortable, 15 years of anti-incumbency, people were facing fatigue, and they swept that election purely from the organizational power. So I think, yes, you are right about the set of angry voters who might find this issue emotional enough to put their anger aside. But even more important than that, I think this is going to charge up their cadre, who are going to actually work on the election day to pull up the turnout.
Okay, let's look at the second question. Do you think that the Congress party should attend the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha ceremony in Ayodhya on the 22nd of January? So this was the second question posed by Sea Voter to respondents in the Hindi heartland states. This is the response that Sea Voter got. 64% of the respondents say yes, the Congress should have attended the Ram Mandir opening. 24% are saying no. Amongst opposition voters also, Amitabh Tiwari, 56.3% of those who say they vote for the opposition say that the Congress should have attended the Ram Mandir opening. If you were in the Congress camp, is that a number that would scare you? That even amongst those who have declared that they intended or intend to vote for the opposition, 56.3% saying the Congress should have attended the opening of the Ram Mandir. Amitabh Tiwari.
Yeah, I think this is in line with what we have been discussing over the days on your channel, that the decision of the Congress party not to attend could actually backfire. So we are seeing that even amongst the opposition voters in the Hindi heartland states, almost more than half of the population or their voting population sees that the Congress not attending is probably not sending a right message. And on an overall basis also, this is impacting almost 2/3 of the voters, with 1/3 saying no or don't know. So in the Hindi heartland states, of course, one can argue that BJP already has a lot of seats, 187 out of 225. However, there is scope for improvement in UP because now you have a weaker Gathbandhan or a Mahagathbandhan, PSP, out of the alliance, and with BJP and with JDU exiting the alliance in Bihar, BJP contesting on more seats in Bihar also means that there could be some upside for the BJP there as well. So all this indicates actually an upside for the BJP in the Hindi heartland states if this holds till the elections. And one last point is that on the influence we've seen, the first question, almost 2/3 of the BJP voters, which is the core vote base, say that they are being influenced or they will be influenced by this Ram Mandir inauguration, and 1/3, which is the 1/3 are saying that it may or may not. So that is broadly in line with the 2/3 hardcore ideological vote of the BJP and 1/3 of the BJP vote, which is largely due to the Modi factor.
Okay, let's come to the next question on this poll, and I want Sanjay Jha to listen very carefully because he'd earlier argued that the Congress should in fact boycott and not go for the consecration. When the question was asked, do you think the decision of Sonia Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge of not attending the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha can harm the Congress party in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections? 46% of opposition voters said yes. 55% of total voters said no. So forget total because that includes a large chunk of NDA voters as well. Let Sanjay Jha just focus on this part. 46.5% of opposition voters saying yes, the Congress's decision of not attending the consecration ceremony will hurt the Congress's chances. Is that something, if you were in the Congress camp looking at these numbers, would that be ringing alarm bells?
Rahul, let me tell you that I have been of the view, I've said it publicly, I've said it actually on Rajdeep's program on India Today, that the Congress party actually should have done both the things, attended the consecration ceremony and at the same time pointed out how the BJP is making it into a political project. The two are not mutually exclusive. As we all are aware, we are all seasoned people here on your program today, and you're a veteran reporter and an editor. Everybody knows, we are not born yesterday. The BJP is trying to appropriate a religious event and giving it a political slant. That's the reason why the Shankaracharya is not coming, right? If it was a religious event, the Shankaracharyas ought to be there. The truth is, for the Congress party, however, it also made sense to, because the BJP's propaganda machine always paints it successfully as a minority appeasement party, and the Congress's political communication has never been a strong point, that these things become even more vulnerable. So I'm of the view that the Congress party should have attended the consecration ceremony, and the Congress party should have also exposed the BJP's double standards in exploiting a very sacred religious event for a political gain.